is basically banks are mining Bitcoin and surviving off of those transactions. What do you think about that?
That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard. I thought we were here to get rid of the shitty banks. That was the game, right? Let's get rid of these assholes. They're just taking everyone's money. So now we want to onboard them as miners and beg them to process our transactions and allow them into blocks? You fucking kidding me?
Here's the important point. If you want the world to be a better place, you have to replace all of traditional finance with open source, peer-to-peer, trusted systems. I built such a system. He did not build such a system, and Bitcoin didn't build such a system. But in the end, the miners are the actual network. And if you're not mining, you're bitch. You're bitch. You're bitch.
It's the crypto lifestyle, baby! What the hex is Hexcoin? And who is Richard Heart? But more importantly, should you claim free Hex? It is free. Well, in this video, all those questions would be answered. But hey, welcome back to another video. My name is Francis, if this is your first time here. And if you want to learn the importance of decentralization and other cryptocurrency related stuff, then make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification button so you don't miss anything. So there's a huge buzz going on right now with a token called Hex, which is advertised as, and I quote, the first blockchain high interest certificate of deposits. Now, most banks throughout the world has a similar investment. You know, I'm in Canada and we call it a GIC. But for Bitcoin hodlers in particular, listen up, because you are entitled to receive free Hex on December 2nd, which a snapshot will take place at midnight UTC time from your decentralized Bitcoin wallet, such as a Ledger or even a Trezor or any other Bitcoin wallet you own the private keys to. Also though, you guys really do need to do your own homework, but here's what I will do. I'm going to bring you guys along my edited, fast-forwarded research on the whole Richard Heart and Hexcoin saga so you can get a fast track on this entire thing, but it's very critical that you do your own homework on this very controversial topic. So you're about to see a few clips of Richard Heart from various different interviews, you know, and you could find this on YouTube. I would leave the links to those interviews in the description box below.
Everybody, I'm Richard Heart. I've got about 100,000 followers across Twitter and YouTube. I'm Richard Heart Win on Twitter. I'm Richard Heart on YouTube. I'm a retired serial entrepreneur, retired in 2003. I started from my own front yard a bunch of businesses, and then they ended up with about 150 employees in an internet marketing company. I started mining Bitcoin the first quarter of 2011. I used to mine full blocks on my own with no pool. And there were 50 BTC block rewards back then, so that was good fun. It's funny, in crypto, whatever you bought is a world-changing invention. And whatever you didn't buy is a scam. And that's how everyone in crypto feels.
So you just heard it. Richard Heart retired in 2003. He's a very, very early adopter of Bitcoin. He actually started mining when it was 50 Bitcoins per block reward, which is freaking crazy. How many people could say that? This guy truly does have some authority, okay? He got my ears, that's for sure. He's also a cryptocurrency influencer, live streamer, very, very, very entertaining and highly intelligent guy who just, honestly, he speaks facts most of the time. Richard versus Bitcoin. It's very clear and apparent. Richard is a veteran and an OG early Bitcoin adopter. He really has a natural understanding and grasp on how this network and ecosystem operates, from the inner workings to the outer workings, from governance and protocols to mining corruption, which we will get into now. Let's listen to what he has to say here.
If the only thing that Bitcoin does well is censorship resistance and appreciate, because most of it's for speculation, well, that means that having centralized miners control who can join the network is terrible. There's only 4 companies in the world that you could probably buy a miner from and attempt to be cash positive buying Bitcoin. You know who else gets free interest?
Bitcoin inflates higher than 3.8% every single year since it's ever existed as a free dividend to people who pollute the environment. So Bitcoin pays interest not to people that invest in Bitcoin, but to people that send money to weird countries to make silicone, to burn electricity, to pollute the environment. That's who actually makes all the Bitcoin. Every Bitcoin you've ever bought went through one of their hands first.
And they're all, Bobby Lee says China's not where they're at. China is where all they're at. China's where all the mining's at. China is where all the manufacturers at. China's where all the cheap labor's at. China's where all the cheap electricity is, which is why all the mining's in China, on top of the fact that they have currency controls there. So Bitcoin's got less on-chain transactions than it did in 2017, less people that accept it. The price dropped 85%, and these people think that they have the best thing in the entire world and nothing else can be done better. And you're like, well, guys, the metrics, the measurements, the Google search volume, the on-chain transaction volume, the number of new wallets, you're not winning the war. All you have is a really high hash rate. The software is the best it's ever been, right? That's continued to improve. And you have a really high hash rate. And what does that really high hash rate do? Well, you have all-time high difficulty at 3 times less than all-time high price. So that's more selling pressure. People have to sell more of the percentage of coins they get to pay their electric bills. So it just pushes the price down harder. So is that better?
Bitcoin miners get paid to push the price down because that's the security model. Every single Bitcoin that exists, the 18 million coins that exist now, nobody that did anything honorable or ethical was given those coins. The only people that received those coins were people that sold them on market to pollute the environment by buying electricity. Now that's necessary because that's the security model. But I can get the same security for pennies on Ethereum without paying $1 million an hour to miners that then use that money to attack that network with a fake Bitcoin and try and convince people to buy a fake Bitcoin, which is what Bitmain did, okay?
And so it's the perfect storm of all of crypto being successful in China more so than anywhere else because of capital controls, because of cheap labor, because of electronics manufacturing in Shenzhen, and because they love gambling over there. And because speculation is such a large component of cryptocurrency valuation, the Chinese run it, right? And all the problems we've had with attacks in Bitcoin have not come from hash rate ever. They've come from software bugs, and there's no bug bounty program, and there's no one auditing the software. So the things that I tell these people to do to improve their thing, that I also own a huge bag of, they just don't listen. They're like, no, I can't listen. I can't learn. I can't do anything better. I have my bag, and I hope everything works out good.
This is true. Bitcoin had some software bugs in the past, which is a huge flaw, and what he says is true. Everyone thinks Bitcoin is so decentralized. I even shared the same sentiment in the past in some past videos. It's not. Bitcoin is not as decentralized as people think because the miners are indeed the middlemen. We pay them Bitcoin every single damn time we send a transaction. This is no different to us paying the banks for transactions, and the miners are the banks who control most of the Bitcoin. Once again, Richard is speaking facts. Okay, so what exactly is Hexcoin and why is Richard so passionate about this? Well, first of all, it's a very highly controversial subject. Some people get it and others don't. You know, they call it the usual names, a scam, a Ponzi, etc. But if you really, truly cut through the noise and listen to what he says, again, he speaks facts. And this is what nobody in this space is talking about.
So basically, the 2 most popular products at your bank are savings accounts and time deposits. And I would say checking account used to be on there, but no one uses checks anymore. So I would say this is the 2nd most popular product at your bank.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to get rid of the banksters, and you want to get rid of gotcha capitalism, and you want to get rid of all those crappy entities that are middlemen that just leech off of the GDP of the economy and get in the middle of everyone's transactions and prevent you from doing what you want to do with your own money and are never open when you need them to be open. If you want to get rid of those people, someone has to develop the software that replaces every single product they have with a peer-to-peer trusted auditable solution. Bitcoin can do currency. It cannot do dime deposits. It already has time locking built into it, and it cannot pay interest when you lock up. It just screws you. It just makes it so you can't use your own money. So we invented trustless interest. We invented the first high interest internet blockchain certificate of deposit, which is called Bond in the UK, time deposit across Asia, guaranteed GIS in Canada. So it's amazing. It attacks a larger market than Bitcoin does. Currency is a smaller market than time deposits. Time deposits are 7.2 trillion in the United States and China alone. And we have lower fees than Bitcoin. And we have, I believe, better security because Ethereum that we run on has a bug bounty program. And we've had 3 audits, of which 2 are security audits and 1 is an economics audit. So it's like, and our consensus code is locked into a smart contract that no one can edit. It's immutable. And therefore, it's very, very hard to have bugs around consensus. You know, but in Bitcoin, if you improve the network stack, you accidentally introduce a mint as many free coins as you want bug. And they've had 2 of them. One of them was executed and they had to roll the chain back. The other was narrowly avoided because a Bitcoin Cash developer reported it responsibly instead of using it for himself.
This is a very common investment within the traditional banking world, and it's true. It just goes by different names depending on what country you reside in. For the people in America, you guys call it bonds. Here in Canada, it's called a GIC. So this is the first ever high interest blockchain of certificate deposit. But it is also important to note what he said. This cannot, and I repeat, cannot take place on Bitcoin, okay? You cannot build this on top of Bitcoin on that network. And furthermore, he is absolutely correct. Time deposits is a much bigger market than currency. It actually dwarfs it. It really does. But the main take back from that is this. It's true, the goal is to wipe out humans within the fintech space, and we have that tech in place today, and this is exactly what Hexcoin claims to do.
I was a Bitcoin maximalist forever, but then when you decide you want anonymity, you can't do it in Bitcoin. When you decide you want to replace the CD, you can't do it in Bitcoin. When you decide you want interesting game theory to reward people for doing awesome and honorable things, you cannot do it in Bitcoin because they only inflate to pay people to pollute the environment. That's the only people they pay. They could, you know how much better Bitcoin would be if you could actually pay the developers to make some improvements?
If you want these coins and you want this world-changing innovation and you want to get in at the beginning, like I got in at the beginning of Bitcoin, I got my Bitcoin for free, and now you guys will buy them for $8,000, the ones that I got for free by just double-clicking in EXE, right? I'm recreating that for everyone. I'm giving everyone an opportunity to get in at the beginning of something amazing again, and I'm giving it to you guys for free if you're a Bitcoin holder. Snapshots in 5 days and some hours.
When I first got into Bitcoin, it was free, and I mined it for free, and that's why I went all in on it after I got it for free. Now, the only people that are getting freemium onboarding is Ravencoin and Ethereum and Monero because you can mine it for free. Here's the important point. If you want the world to be a better place, you have to replace all of traditional finance with open source, peer-to-peer, trusted systems. I built such a system. He did not build such a system, and Bitcoin didn't build such a system. The UASP, the No2X guys, threatened the network and put a gun to the network's head to get SegWit, and I was part of that, and I supported it. But in the end, the miners are the actual network, and if you're not mining, you're a bitch.
Whereas the lenders that don't have such an opportunity, like Ma and Pa that's retired, they just get destroyed because they're not trying to start a business. They're trying to survive. And what they use to survive, a lot of the time, is CDs. My grandparents survived using CD ladders, where you would have a CD and then you'd always have one CD ending when you needed money. And that's how they survived until they died. So, you know, when the government's printing the money for free, savers are always going to get fucked and businesses are always going to do wonderfully. And that's why you see, you know, retired people having the worst time of their lives, not being able to pay their bills because prices keep going up, but they can't make any interest at all. And businesses are at all-time highs with the S&P 500 at all-time highs. You're going to continue to see that as long as interest rates are artificially low, period.
So what did you get out of those clips? I'll tell you what I got out of those clips. I got a guy who is very passionate and he believes 100% in what he says, regardless of the public sentiment, okay? There's a very popular saying that goes like this: smart mofos look like crazy mofos to dumb mofos. And this very well may be a perfect example of that, okay? Because he says everything with conviction. He doesn't second guess. He tells you point blank. And it's true. The issues are miners centralizing and apparently monopolizing Bitcoin, which is 100% true, okay? I cannot agree with this guy anymore. Now, when you look at any inventor, whether that be a physical product or a software or whatever, their inspiration comes from something in which they encountered in their lives, okay? More times out of 10. And he tells us this over and over. I got Bitcoin for free. I mined 50 BTC block rewards. My grandparents survived on CDs. When one finished, they used the next one in a ladder form. Banks are garbage. No one likes banks. All of these combines is pretty much what Hexcoin stands for, okay? It came from circumstances in his life, and he's very engaging, highly intelligent human being who I believe deserves more coverage. In conclusion, whether you like Richard or not, frankly, that's really besides the point because the man speaks straight facts. He sees it and calls it for whatever it is, man. Moreover, my gut don't lie to me, man. And my BS detector is not popping off right now because I personally feel the sincerity, passion, and enthusiasm in this dude. He's a straight up point blank guy, and those are the most honest people, believe it or not. Now, is Hex going to moon? Is it going to do all these things, makes us all these gains? I don't know about that. I don't know if it's going to be a huge success. But what I do know is this. I sure as Hex will be getting my Hex tokens, and I also will be updating you guys on my progress. And for those who want to get their free Hex as well, I would leave the link to the video in which Richard Heart created on how to get your free tokens in the description box below. But it's important, guys. Remember, okay, this is the main take back from this all. The goal in crypto is to wipe out all human activity that oversees, controls, and distributes finance to the masses. And this is exactly what Hex is supposed to be. Smart contracts, atomic swaps, and other protocols are making this possible today. Popular technology YouTube channels such as TEDx Talks also talks about this with a video they made titled How Smart Contracts Will Change the World, and another one named Building Smart Cities. If you want to get free Hex, that's entirely your decision. I personally will be getting it, and why not? I like what I see and I like what it stands for, and it makes sense to me. I'll leave the video on how to get those free Hex tokens in which Richard created, as I mentioned before, in the comment section and the description box below. However, before you go, there is a video you guys need to check out on how I am going to share a potential of $50,000 worth of Bitcoin and Nex tokens with my subscribers. So do check that out now, okay guys? So until the next video, you know what? There ain't really much left to see other than you're on your own. Later.
Too many YouTubers was overrated. And if you ask me, they wasn't even supposed to make it in this crypto. YouTube biz, they don't know what content is. So give up, become an actor or an actress, kid.